A very warm welcome from me, Sudip Bhaduri, your movie host for the Big Barton Film Show. I hope you're keeping well. There are more easing on the lockdown. I just hope that the public follow the guidelines and we don't get another spike so soon. No news yet of the cinemas, but I know that in America, the number one film in the US box office is the very first Ghostbusters from 1984 because drive-in theatres are showing them on a regular basis. What a great idea. I've been banging about this for quite some time. Drive-in cinemas could be the way forward for the UK. So this week, another golden movie year. This year it's 2003. What were you doing at that particular time? I recall a Florida Keys holiday in a luxury villa, and I actually visited Key Largo, which a lot of cinema goers will recognise was a major movie in the history of Humphrey Bogart. In the news of 2003, Maurice Gibb from the famous Bee Gees sadly died after a complication following a stomach operation. He had a heart problem too. He died aged 53 from one of our all-time great bands. Another tragedy was when the USA Space Shuttle Columbia disintegrated on entering Earth's atmosphere, killing all aboard. Saddam Hussein's regime was coming to an end as his statue was historically toppled and his sons died in a gun battle with the Western forces. Saddam was captured just before Christmas. Famous American country and western singer Johnny Cash passed away aged 71. The Man in Black was renowned for great songs like Ring of Fire, Walk the Line, A Boy Named Sue, and that famous concert at Folsom Prison. If you haven't seen Walk the Line starring Joaquin Phoenix, do watch it. That was soon to be made after Cash's death. It was also the end of an era for Concorde. Its final transatlantic flight landed in Heathrow after 27 years duration for this great airline. Tory party leader Ian Duncan Smith stepped down as leader after losing the trust and the votes of his peers. And who could forget, on an early November morning in a pub in Manchester, I was having breakfast and witnessed England winning the Rugby World Cup against Australia on their patch, thanks to Johnny Wilkinson's boot. In the cinemas, we had the overrated, overhyped, overblown and overloaded Love Actually, loved by many, strangely, a Christmas film, apparently. Bill Nye was the best part about it as that ageing rocker. Everything else about it, forgettable. Tom Cruise was going Far East in The Last Samurai, not his best, but perfect entertainment. Mark Wahlberg starred in an aimless remake of The Italian Job, not to scratch a Michael Caine. Russell Crowe hit the high seas in Patrick O'Brien's Master and Commander. Jamie Lee Curtis was totally out of character in the very funny Freaky Friday. Jack Black was a hoot in The School of Rock, which is now a great stage show. And Jim Carrey was Jim Carrey in Bruce Almighty. Just missing out on my top 3 films of 2003, Clint Eastwood's powerful social drama with Sean Penn called Mystic River, based on the book by Dennis Lehane. Tim Burton's magical father-son story called Big Fish, and the superb martial arts drama Old Boy. So my top 3 movies. Number 3, Touching the Void, made by Kevin MacDonald, the harrowing tale of Joe Simpson and Simon Yates, 2 dynamic, experienced British climbers who decide to tackle the west face of the Ciula Grande in the Peruvian Andes. The ascent is trouble-free. What happens on the descent becomes a harrowing tale and a near disaster as Yates tries to make some vital life decisions involving his friend. Using actors and bridging techniques of fictional action photos, the movie cuts between interviews with the real guys and the dramas that unfolded. The recreations are accomplished. It feels like a Hollywood suspense adventure. Spine-chilling, nerve-jangling, sweating edge-of-the-seat stuff. Very gritty, touching the void. Number 2, Kill Bill Volume 1, made by the great Quentin Tarantino, starring Uma Thurman, Lucy Liu, David Carradine and Michael Madsen. A cult classic now, and Thurman all in an ochre shell jumpsuit and samurai sword, blooded all over. A bride left for dead by her husband and her boss. She vows revenge on him and the colleagues, a team of elite assassins who abandoned her whilst dying. Thumping good soundtrack. Tarantino, as is his wont, balances an array of pop culture influences with great dialogue and fast-paced, blood-splattered action. A homage and a vintage style of Hong Kong chop suey type of martial arts with anime as well. In the end, it's his baby, it's his movie. The production is a wild, adrenaline-charged comic book yarn. And there's a cliffhanger for part 2. But my top film of 2003 has to be Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King, made by Peter Jackson and his team from Weta in New Zealand. The climax, the famous epic by Tolkien. The return of Elijah Wood, Sean Astin, Viggo Mortensen and Sir Ian McKellen. And here Frodo has finally entered the zone of Mount Doom in the land of Mordor, where he has to destroy the ring. He has assumed that Gollum, the sneaky creature, has gone, but he may well play a part in the ring's destiny. Meanwhile, the good men and the allies set out to battle Sauron's brigades and his colleagues at the Battle of Pelennor Fields. It may be 3 hours long, but it captures your attention and never lets up. The ending in the book is more satisfactory than the ending in the movie. Taking that to one side, it's still a staggering achievement. It won 11 Oscars. The special effects and the acting provide us with a heroic picture. This will match the Godfather trilogy. My film of 2003, Lord of the Rings, Return of the King.